Throughout the 2022 NFL season, everybody saw the rise of the Detroit Lions offense, and they had one of the best offenses in the NFL last season without one of their biggest up-and-coming stars and biggest weapons. And that's obviously Jameson Williams, who we saw glimpses of during his regular season last year, but he was recovering from an injury, didn't get to play much, and now he'll be eligible week 7 after his 6-game suspension. Free J-Mo. And also, fuck the Packers. You know they had to have had something to do with J-Mo's suspension. They probably set him up. But for Jameson Williams, I truly think that over the next few years that he will break out and be one of the best wide receivers in the league. Just from what little we've already seen, he's already shown that he's a phenomenal playmaker, and I'm just extremely excited. It sucks he has to sit out for the first 6 games, but I don't think it's really going to matter. And then just overall, looking at the Lions wide receiver room, you can confidently say that the Lions have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. I'd make the argument to say that they have the best wide receiver room in the NFL. That take may be a bit bold, as the Cincinnati Bengals probably have the Lions wide receiver room covered with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd, but that doesn't mean that the Lions aren't still right up there. Maybe the Eagles are also above the Lions with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Quez Watkins, but who else has a better wide receiver room than the Lions? San Fran, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings? Maybe, but I'd honestly say the Lions is stronger, especially with the Lions' depth. And the Lions' wide receiver room is extremely young, so who's not to say that in a few years, maybe then the Lions have the best one. It also might seem like a hot take to say that the Lions have a top 5 wide receiver room in the NFL, because if you look up rankings for the wide receiver rooms in the NFL currently, the Lions are at like 16 or low teens in some of these lists, which is unbelievable. But that's also because the Lions wide receivers are kind of underrated. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions' best wide receiver, is definitely a quiet killer and does not get the hype he deserves. Amon-Ra St. Brown is currently entering his 3rd year in the NFL. It's only his 3rd year after being stolen during the 2021 draft in the 4th round by Brad Holmes, and he's going into his 3rd year in the NFL as one of the best wide receivers across the league. This man is one of the most efficient players. He enters his 1st year, his rookie season, on a growing Lions team. During 2022, the Lions had the youngest team in the NFL. During 2021, the Lions only won 3 games. This is a young, growing team with new management, and he comes in and has 900 yards and does that on a 75% catch rate. And he didn't do that on just a few receptions. This is 119 targets, and he caught 90 of them. Then jump to his sophomore season last year, this man nearly has 1,200 yards on over 100 receptions while catching 73% of his targets. Just unbelievable. Amon-Ra St. Brown has incredible route running. He's always on a dime. He's always where you need him to be, and he can just create space no matter what. It seems like he's always open, and he's just so reliable. Every 3rd down the Lions have, give it to your stud. Give it to the man who's most reliable, and that's always Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown also has great hands. We also all saw the leg catch he made against the Packers week 18. That was unbelievable. St. Brown also has a great IQ. He's always finding the gap in the zones. He's also a great run blocker. He loves run blocking. He's not just one of those wide receivers that's just going to half-ass it. He goes 100% with the run blocking. No matter what, St. Brown is always helping out the offense on every play. But everything I just mentioned isn't even the biggest reason why Amon-Ra St. Brown is so deadly. St. Brown is so deadly because he can line up literally anywhere you want him to. And I'm not just talking he can line up in the left slot or right slot. Amon-Ra St. Brown is phenomenal out of the backfield. And I'm not even just talking jet sweeps or motion handoffs. Amon-Ra St. Brown lines up in the backfield and takes snaps as a full-on tailback, going straight up the middle, and does so efficiently. So whenever Amon-Ra St. Brown lines up on the edge or lines up in the backfield, the defense actually really needs to take account for that and focus up and watch where Amon-Ra St. Brown is. And that's just another thing they have to focus on, because it's not just some fun gimmick the Lions do once in a while. The Lions can consistently gain yards with Amon-Ra St. Brown taking it up the middle or taking a motion handoff or a jet sweep or a screen. Also, Amon-Ra St. Brown ranks super high on tons of different statistics, whether it's efficiency, adjusted yards, adjusted value. But here's another statistic. Nate Tice on Twitter made this. He was just messing around, thought of this, made it to see what would happen. It's success rate on targets by total routes run. It's who makes the most of the opportunities they get out of all the opportunities they could have received. And he ranks number 1. Only his second year in the NFL, above tons of other stars. But enough about the Sun God. Let's go from the Lions' top wide receiver to their 6th best wide receiver, and that's Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy has been with the Lions for 4 years and has been in the league for 4 years, but he only started seeing the field 2 years ago during 2021. And over the past 2 seasons, Tom Kennedy has 25 targets, 14 receptions for a pretty efficient catch rate of 53%. But the crazy part is, on 15 targets last season and 8 receptions, Kennedy averaged 17.6 yards per reception. Kennedy could easily be a pretty solid wide receiver 3 for a lot of teams in the NFL, not just the Lions. But he's not for the Lions because the Lions also have Marvin Jones, Kalif Raymond, and Josh Reynolds. And we saw how productive Kalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds were for the Lions last season, both taking in over 500 yards receiving last season. And now the Lions have Marvin Jones entering his 11th season in the NFL, so some people may say he's old, but I don't think it matters. His production is still high. The only reason he had a small dip in yards last year is because he wasn't used as much, and Marvin Jones has incredible route running, incredible hands. We've seen some of the crazy plays Marvin Jones has made, and he's a veteran. He'll be able to help out the teams. And he's been with Detroit before, so you already know he has that dog in him. And for Jameson Williams, some have argued that they haven't seen enough of Jameson Williams in the league, and we don't know if he's going to be good or not. And to that I say, go watch Jameson Williams at Bama. He was unbelievable. But also, people underestimate JMO on this play right here that was called back, but still an amazing play from Jameson Williams. It's 3rd and 1. The Lions look like they're going to run it up the gut with the I formation. The only wide receiver out wide is Jameson Williams. We know what happens here. To hand it off, pitch back, flea flicker. Jameson Williams puts on the brakes. Incredible route running here. Incredible speed. It's a great throw from Goff. People say that Goff underthrew this, and if he underthrew it, then this play makes Jameson Williams look even better. Look where he is there. There's 2 DBs on him. One's farther up the field than him. He catches the ball in stride and passes both of them and easily outruns both of them to the end zone. He's gaining ground there. He's slowing down. Jameson Williams is just so explosive, and now the Lions are also going to have Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. I truly think that Jameson Williams is going to pan out to be a star, but just again, looking at the Lions wide receiver room, it's just so stacked. What teams have it better? Not the Bills. The Bills just have Stephon Diggs and an inconsistent Gabe Davis. It's not the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders do have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, but then who else? The Vikings do have Addison, Osborne, and of course Justin Jefferson. The Chargers, of course, have Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. The Seahawks do have Metcalf and Lockett and now JSN. We'll have to see how good JSN is. You can say the same thing about Williams, but out of those 3 teams, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Marvin Jones, Kalif Raymond, Tom Kennedy, and Josh Reynolds over all 3 of those teams' wide receiver cores. I just think that the Lions' depth just makes them so good in the fact that they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. He's only going into his 3rd year. The Lions also have Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams, who are just both so explosive, and they have consistent wide receivers, Marvin Jones, Reynolds. I've said their names 100 times. That's why I think the Lions are the best. I may just be a biased Lions fan, but I definitely think it's safe to say that the Lions have a top 5 wide receiver room in the NFL. The other teams in there, the Dolphins, of course, Waddle and Hill, the Bengals, the 49ers, and of course the Eagles. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That is going to be the end of this video. If you enjoy my content, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And once again, as always, thanks for watching. Fuck the